Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nerd here once again, and in today's video I am going to be covering another Doctor Who Reddit leak. Now this obviously talks about Series 13 and the trilogy of specials that are going to be happening next year, like all the other leaks that are happening at the moment. And again, with these leaks, take them with a huge grain of salt, because a lot of them are simply just fan fiction, but it is fun to kind of just talk about them and express, like, the likelihood and all that sort of stuff, because you never know. As I've said multiple times, some parts of Series 12, some very important parts of Series 12 were leaked before, and then boom. So it does make me think at the back of my head sometimes that, yeah, there could be some truth, but then again, probably not. But still, we're going to do it. We're going to look at them, we're going to analyse them and kind of see what's going on. So yeah, with that being said, let's have a look at this Reddit post. Alright, so here we go. Series 13, 2022 specials, and Series 14 rumours. So, things are shifting very quickly in the BBC. Doctor Who, as you knew it, will not be around for much longer. Oh, very spooky. How do I know? Good question. But I'm afraid I would have to kill you if I told you. Secrecy and all. So, okay, they must have some inside source, I guess, but okay. First of all, Series 13 was a nightmare to film. I mean, I can't imagine that, because obviously all the restrictions and stuff, and they've had to cut a lot of episodes. Production was a slog, with finished scripts being fired out very last minute, sometimes on the day of shooting. That's not the first time that a TV or film production has actually done that, even without COVID. Like, stuff can change very last minute, especially with scripts as well. So yeah, that's not entirely far-fetched. That's all well and good, but when it's pivotal plot points, it does make the shooting one hell of a stress. So, okay, there have been some big changes then for the scripts during shooting. That being said, the series is looking good, and the continuous story is something which matches up to the same quality of the Torchwood Children of Earth. That was something that I did enjoy. That Torchwood series was really good. It was kind of a similar thing. Instead of 6 episodes, I think it was 5, and it just flowed continuously. And yeah, it was really, really well made. And if Doctor Who can do something like that, I would be looking forward to it. Expect Yaz to be a fan favourite by the end, alongside with Bishop's hilarious Dan. Okay, cool. Oh, and Jodie gives the best performance of her career. Okay. Very interesting here. Some, a lot of hype being brought up here for each of the cast members, but let's go. Vinda really isn't who you think, but Jacob Anderson is a very cool addition to the team. Sacha Dhawan returns as his glorious master in the last episode. Now, Series 13 is the first chapter in something much bigger. Now, yeah, I can see that happening, because, Series 13 was originally announced to have 8 episodes instead of the usual 10. So, yeah, in total we're getting 9 episodes, really, all together, and then one of them is meant to be like a blockbuster. I think they're all meant to be feature length anyway, but all the specials are. But yeah, very interesting stuff there. It is kind of interesting that all of it, I would categorize anyway, would be Series 13 technically, but obviously it's all being cut off and they're marketing it differently now. But oh well, we'll move forward. One notable current ongoing discussion behind the scenes is that Series 13 will drop in its entirety on BBC iPlayer when the first episode is aired on BBC One. Now that one, I know in this era of Netflix there's this thing for binge watching, but with Disney Plus they release their shows weekly, so just because there's a streaming service there does not mean you have to drop all the episodes on there. I get it, it's a continuous story, but I don't want to bring up that comparison to Marvel, but with WandaVision, Loki, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, no doubt with Hawkeye, they'll release them weekly because it is a continuous story, but there are cliffhangers. And Chris Chibnall did say in that Comic-Con panel that there were going to be cliffhangers for every single episode. So obviously you want people to speculate for a week about what's going to happen in the next episode. So yeah, I can't see them doing that. Obviously, there's a conversation, as a person says here, there's many pros and cons to that, but they are trying to make it the most accessible and modern series yet. I think personally it would be a bad idea, just because we're not getting a lot of, content for Doctor Who TV this year, because obviously reduced episode count and that. In terms of other media, yeah, we're doing really well, but in terms of TV, yeah, obviously, production's been compromised, because of COVID and stuff, and there's been like less episodes filmed. So, yeah, I mean, it would kind of be just like a week's worth of hype, and then that would be it. So, I think they would try and maximize the hype and stuff. So, yeah, I reckon it'd still be weekly episodes. All right, so here we go. The trilogy of specials are, excuse my French here, fucking superb. All right, okay, very, very bigging up that, but okay, let's go. All those Chris Chibnall bashers will be astounded with what this man has pulled out of his arse for the fans. Joe Martin returns as the Doctor and is given several scene-stealing moments. Now, I do want to see Joe Martin return. The Fugitive Doctor, at the very least, needs more, episodes. Like, I would love to see it get a spin-off or be the 14th Doctor, but I guess we'll have to see what happens. Many people will be praying for an era dedicated to this goddess. Hate to tell all the Fugitive Doctor stands out there, but she is not the 14th Doctor. I mean, with Chibnall leaving, I couldn't see that happening now, unfortunately. But don't worry, Chris will try and feed your urges during these specials. The plotline for these specials? The Timeless Child, of course. I mean, yeah, it is kind of obvious. Jodie's era has pretty much become dedicated to the Timeless Child story arc now, so I mean, yeah, I did kind of expect that, and especially now it's like Series 11, there was no overarching story. I guess Tim Shaw was one thing, but then Series 12, suddenly, the Timeless Child, boom, the Doctor's the Timeless Child, and then Series 13, 6 episodes, and then 3 specials. Yeah, Christian was going to have to wrap that up pretty soon, so yeah, I can imagine straight away that, yeah, the plotline for whole of Series 13 and the specials are going to be revolving around the Timeless Child. Now, some of you have guessed where it's going, some have not. The complexity to the narrative is really admirable, and you will feel this was a worthy story arc. So hopefully, yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely against the Timeless Child story arc. I mean, yeah, it does pose its own problems, but if it's explained thoroughly, because let's not forget it was just a bombshell dropped at the end of Series 12 and it hasn't been fully explained. But if it's explained and developed properly, it could work. It could work. But then again, we don't know how it's going to play out. It's a completely new idea, kind of. It was kind of toyed with the classic series, but the fact it's been done in this way, yeah, it is kind of new. So we just got to see how it rolls out. So the Senatory Special is currently wrapping up filming. From what I've seen and worked on, it's the Doctor Who movie everyone has been asking for. I guess that's in terms of its length and budget, maybe, similar to Day of the Doctor. This will be released in cinemas as well as broadcasted on BBC One in October 2022. Yeah, so it's got an awesome release date already. Cinemas might be a bit of a stretch because obviously Day of the Doctor was at kind of like the height of Doctor Who's popularity, and I can't see him going to the trouble of releasing it in cinemas. But then again, it is for the BBC's 100th anniversary, so they could do that. I mean, it is for the BBC, and if they've got any other specials planned for their other programmes like Casualty or something like that, they might do it in cinemas, maybe. But again, you don't know. You don't really know with that sort of thing. But anyway, we continue. It is a multi-Doctor story with 13 and the Fugitive Doctor being accompanied by the 8th, 10th and 11th Doctors. Oh, and Alex Kingston. Now, one red flag there is that the 11th Doctor, who's played by Matt Smith, that actor is currently filming one of the Game of Thrones spin-offs at the moment. And again, with Game of Thrones, characters get killed off all the time. His character could get killed off in the first few episodes or something like that. We don't know. It would be a nice surprise to see him return, but that's kind of making me doubt this a little bit. But in terms of the 8th and 10th Doctor, David Tennant, yes, I do think that if this special is worth the hype and stuff like that, the BBC would definitely bring Tennant back. Because let's be honest, it is going to be the BBC's 100th anniversary, and Doctor Who, when it came back, especially when it was with Tennant, there is no lie, the numbers were insane. And I think the BBC would be quite daft to ignore that. And yeah, I do think Tennant would be back for that special, purely for, celebrating, obviously, the BBC's history and stuff like that. but obviously Doctor Who as well. That prime time of Doctor Who was with Tennant for the modern iteration of the show. So, yeah, I do think that'll be the case of him coming back. The Eighth Doctor, played by Paul McGann, I would really like that because I've enjoyed his Big Finish audios. I've loved the Time War box sets, Ravenous and stuff like that. I've really enjoyed. I would like to see him get more TV time because Night of the Doctor was only a 6-minute minisode and the TV movie didn't do him justice. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But I would like to see him happen. And as well, Alex Kingston coming back as River Song. That one I'm kind of against. I love the character of River. I didn't like the whole fact she was like a Time Lord and then it kind of got disregarded and changed, whatever. But I would like her not to come back because I feel like her story's been done. And I feel like that should be restricted to Stephen Moffat's era. Any expansion to a story should be done ideally in Big Finish, but that's just my personal opinion anyway. Like I said, no disrespect to Alex Kingston or River Song, the character of River Song. I love that character, but I think it's just well left alone now. But yeah, that's just my opinion. If it works, it works. But personally, at this time, nah. And yes, this is an alternative for the 60th anniversary special, but there's some cool shit planned for then. Okay, so yeah, the 60th anniversary special is not going to happen. But I imagine there might be some like documentaries or something happening for then, I guess. So yeah, Jodie's regeneration is a scene unlike anything that has been filmed on Doctor Who before. Oh boy, you have no idea what's coming. Regeneration sequences always have me like nervous. And yeah, I was nervous for Tennant's. I was nervous for Matt Smith's and Peter Capaldi's. So yeah, Jodie Whittaker's is going to be equally as nerve-wracking for me because they are probably like one of the most memorable moments in a Doctor's era is their exit. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens and how they'll do it. Will they have a big speech or whatever? Will there be a memorable quote? Because laugh hard, run fast, be kind from Peter Capaldi. We'll just have to see what happens. But anyway, we'll move on now. So now, the 14th Doctor will not appear in the Cemetery special. Okay. There are good reasons for this. The first is that the 14th Doctor will pave way in creating a brand new era of Doctor Who. The second is that the new showrunners have a very bold idea in how to introduce the 14th Doctor. And yes, I said showrunners as in plural. Yeah, this is not the first thing posted on Reddit that has specified that there's going to be more than one showrunner. It could be interesting, as I said before. It might cause creative issues. We don't know. But here we go. So where were we? I completely lost track. There we go. So they can't give any names apparently, but all they can say is that they are brand new to Doctor Who, so they weren't fans, but they have worked with the BBC before and are big names. Now, I generally don't know who they could be, but I'm obviously open to whoever. I just want good scripts. That's all I want. Memorable stories. But yeah, let's move on. The 14th series of Doctor Who will premiere in spring 2023. I hope so. Wait, scratch that. The new era of Doctor Who will premiere in 2023. Whether it will be called Series 14, well, I don't know, but I don't think so. There's many rumours about how the new series is going to look, but serials are what are currently being talked about. Smaller series, bigger stories, bigger risks, and a more constant flow of Doctor Who content on screen. So they are going to be getting rid of the Monster of the Week style scenario, I guess, and they're going to have bigger stories in terms of like, you're not going to have the 45-minute episodes that I could argue is actually a good thing. Because my biggest issue with modern Who and why I love classic Who so much is that, yeah, it does help develop stories and develop characters in those stories a lot. And a big example for me personally is Genesis of the Daleks. I think that is like the perfect size for a Doctor Who story to be fully developed. You had the origin of the Daleks, you had your introduction to Davros, and yeah, it was perfect. It was perfect. And yeah, Tom Baker rocked it in that story. And that was the first ever classic Who story I watched. And yeah, that is something I would always use as an example of why Doctor Who serials would work. But anyway, so we move on now to who is the 14th Doctor, you ask. Let's just say their name has been mentioned, but they are currently being branded as unlikely by fans due to their notoriety. I don't think I said that right, but still. They are a big name and a big gain for the show. Tom Hiddleston? Nah, I'm joking. I'm chatting shit. It's probably not him. The BBC has thrown money at Doctor Who. You may not think they are, but trust me, they are. And to prove how precious the show is, they're about to market it as a serious competitor to streaming service production. So is this going to go to BritBox now? Very interesting. But yeah, you go. They said about questions. They're probably not going to answer them, but feel free. But there's a PS one. Okay, here we go. PS, you were supposed to be getting a 5th season of Torchwood going into production early next year to air on the relaunched BBC Three channel as one of its only returning series. That has been postponed indefinitely due to Barrowman's current allegations. Also, Toby Whitehouse and Mark Gatiss, who were going to take the reins from Russell T Davies and Judy Garner, have stepped back due to creative differences. So, were they going to also take over from Chibnall then? Very interesting there. Very interesting. But wow. What a lot to talk about. So, yeah, there was a lot in that leak. Leak, Reddit post, whatever you want to call it, fan fiction. But, yeah, there was certainly a lot to talk about. I mean, Series 13, production hell isn't a surprise. I mean, obviously it has been a tough year for the general public. But then, obviously, TV production, stuff like that. The fact that they've been able to continue and stuff is good. It is good that we've still got content coming to our television screens, and that makes me happy. As a media student, I'm so bloody happy. But yeah, in terms of the other stuff discussed there, with the Timeless Child story arc being prevalent during Series 13, and then obviously the specials, doesn't surprise me, and especially with the fact Chibnall's leaving alongside Jodie, yeah, it needs to be wrapped up soon. And I've got it in my mind. I'm actually worried that it's not going to be done properly, especially with how groundbreaking this story arc is. But I guess we'll just have to see what happens, because anything could happen with Doctor Who. It's crazy. But yeah, and then going to multi-Doctor story for the 100th anniversary of the BBC. I am kind of expecting it. As I said, Tennant, I think, would be, if they do a multi-Doctor story, that's pretty much a definite. That's confirmed, because Tennant was obviously a big success. And I think if the BBC had an opportunity to bring him back, or a reason to bring him back, he would be probably at the top of the list. And I'm not just saying that as a 10th Doctor fan. I just think, logistically and logically, it would make a lot of sense. But I would hope Paul McGann returns as well. I feel like his Doctor needs, justice, kind of, because he did get a lot of screen time, and he does really well with Big Finish. So maybe, who knows? But yeah, the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, is kind of unlikely. I do hope he does get to return, because the chemistry that him and Tennant had was fantastic. I'd like to see that shared with other Doctors, to be honest. But we'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, there is also a shadow of doubt that this is Jodie's last episode as well. So would they overshadow her exit? I don't know. I generally don't know. But the fact that it's all being bundled together, that she's leaving during a big special, I think it was kind of destined to happen if this is the case. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens there. I say this a lot, but we generally do not know. But yeah, just trying to think as well. Yeah, Alex Kingston as well. I mean, it could happen. She is a fan favourite character. They brought back Captain Jack. That's a character that was fully developed, etc. And he came back. So Alex Kingston returning is not out of the realm of possibility. I feel like with this one, though, she was kind of she was given a complete story arc in Moffat's era. She's had, little bit of, expansion in her character in Big Finish, but I kind of think that's all you can do now, without, dishonouring her story arc. But again, it could work. Chibnall could, give her some, more, make her have a reason for being there, sort of thing. So, yeah, that could happen. But yeah, Series 14 stuff, I'm very like curious about anyway. I do think that is going to be confirmed probably after Series 13 airs. I'll probably do a separate video on that anyway. But yeah, some very exciting stuff there, and I do hope it does air at the end, or sorry, at the beginning of 2023. Yeah, spring. Yeah, I definitely want it to air then, because obviously, if it, you know, the 100th anniversary special airs for October, and then you've got Series 14 in spring. It's not that long, so it would work out pretty well. And then you can get some series marketing in between there as well. And with a constant flow of Doctor Who, hopefully that means the marketing is going to step up as well. But anyway, I am going to wrap up this video here. It's been a bit of a long one today, but if you are new around here, be sure to subscribe for more nerdy content, as we are on the road to 2,000 subscribers, and I would love to reach that by the end of the year. So yeah, if you could click that subscribe button, that would be very much appreciated. And yeah, I'll see you all on my next video. Leave a like rating, comment down below what you thought about these leaks, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye for now.